What's up, guys? My name is Mr. Blue, and welcome back to Minecraft and Chill episode 2. So, oh, I was like, what? So, today's topic is Eastern philosophy, recommended by a good friend of mine. Now, I'll start by saying that Eastern philosophy is something I don't know too much about myself, but I've been reading some articles, like looking for an understanding, or looking for like a certain point I can just talk about and just go off from there and keep rambling on until I figure out what I'm trying to say. But for now, that's what I want to talk about. So, Eastern philosophy. I have taken a philosophy class, but not on Eastern philosophy, just regular philosophy. Socrates, Plato, and then Descartes, those kinds of people, pretty much. I believe it would be considered Western philosophy, but for the most part, that's pretty much the only type of philosophy I have. But hold up, I don't remember. Judging by what I was reading from a little bit of articles I was searching up before I started this video, Oh, whoa, hold on. This is cool. What the hell? I've never seen this before. This is just like a platform. Oh, whatever. I think the general understanding. I don't want to. Well, I think some important topics of Eastern philosophy. There you go. It would be a sense of dualism between mind and body. I feel like that's part of it, and if it's not, then just correct me on it. But I want to start by talking about that. That's something that's actually pretty curious about philosophy, Eastern philosophy, I guess you should say. I think over there they have they're more into how would I put it? No, I like how I'm talking about philosophy and I'm over here killing a cows. I'm actually looking for a cave right now, so but that's pretty much let's see. Yeah, the mind and body, mind and body is crazy. There's a lot to it. I think in psychology I learned that mind and body always have this back and forth essentially. And then you would think to yourself, are mind and body connected? I believe that they are. Yeah, hold up. Believe that they are. They are connected to the point where they're just essential to living. For us to live. Mind needs to tell the body, hey, we're hungry, or hey, we're about to die. We're here, and the body responds by saying, okay, let me take care of it, or let me do something about it, But then, it comes to the point where it's, yeah, my sword broke. I think it comes to the point where you start to wonder whether or not they have their own. I think the body can function automatically by itself, with the mind helping it, but then your mind is a different part of you. Your mind is where all your ideas come from, and pretty much essentially whoa, what the hell? I think that's an underwater zombie, by the way. Essentially, is there no caves around here? There's a giant hole down there. What the hell? Oh, alright, fine. It's really big. So oh, sorry. My last video, I tried to explain how it was hard to talk and play at the same time. My friends have been recommending me that I record a separate track of just me talking, and then I'll just put it pretty much essentially overlay it so that I'm just playing the game like as I would, but then like I'd have like a commentary in the background, you know. And I think for the next video I'll do that. But for right now, this is unscripted. Like everything, everything is like pretty much me like saying how it is. But I'll get back to the point. So, oh, it's a mine shaft. Okay. Essentially, though, that's the topic. So I'm gonna start to go off on a. I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna start to talk about a book that I remember reading. I have never finished it yet. It's a really long book, but one of my really good friends, he recommended. Oh, shout out to Gio. I remember him talking about a book called The Tibet Book of Living and Dying, something like that. And then I remember buying it and actually reading a good amount of chapters of it. And essentially, I feel like that's that book. I hope it's Eastern philosophy in a sense. It's from Tibet, so. But even then, I feel like it still has the same kind of ideas that Jesus, I still feel like it has the same kind of ideas that Eastern philosophy has. So like, I think when I was reading the book, I went in with like an open mind about reading all that, and essentially, like, I started to talk about how like living and dying is essentially like pair and pair. It's like it's just like the essence of life itself. I think people are born into this world, and people are gonna eventually die into this world. Like they don't sugarcoat that. They say it straight up. Like, yeah, like we're born into this world, and then we eventually die into this world. Oh my God, those things take forever to kill. So yeah, just like that guy, you know, he was born into this server to kill me, but eventually I got to him first. And then pretty much the whole book revolves around the idea of living and dying, and it's a really good book. I actually recommend it. I actually want to finish it now that I'm talking about it again. But there's parts and moments in it where it talks about how Buddhist monks they meditate and they train themselves to learn the ways of the Buddha, meditating and finding a sense of inner peace amongst themselves and a sense of like understanding of like their place in this world. And then the ideas there, I feel like they can be heavy sometimes, but as long as you're not like closed-minded and you're not worried about like oh my God, like I am gonna die eventually, what do I do? As long as you just keep reading, it explains to you how we're all born into this world, and then we start to eventually die, and then we see loved ones die, we see other people die and all that, and it's just a part of life and how it is. So it starts to go off when it says, let's see, I want to make sure like I'm getting the right points into the book, like in order of how I read it. I think a really good example that they used was like his own master. Like they have masters when you're learning the ways of Buddha, and then at one point one of their masters was dying. The author's master was dying, and so he was there with his master, like on his deathbed pretty much. And his master said to him that he wasn't really afraid of dying because like he's been training like not his whole life to die, but he's just been studying. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna do that next video. Next video, I'm for sure just gonna I'm just gonna do an overlay. I'm gonna have a script and everything. I'll ask my friends for advice to talk about all that, and I'm just keep doing that because if stuff like that keeps happening to me, I'm gonna end up getting sidetracked so much. I think I am getting sidetracked right now too, as I like talking about? Oh, there's llamas. That creeper ended my life so crazy. Did in one instance too. But like on his master's deathbed, he pretty much told the author that he wasn't really afraid of dying. That he knew his time was coming and he felt it too, which is insane. Like it's crazy how like he could say that. Like I knew this was going to happen eventually, and like I'm ready for it. Cause you know like people say that some people say that they're not afraid to die, of course, you know. But like when it actually happens and you're not really like you just kind of say it like, yeah, I'm not scared of dying. But then when it actually comes down to it, and you're like, oh, you're actually dying on the like deathbed or something. Like God forbid you die in a horrible accident and all that. No one's really prepared for that. But like, if it's like a very serious condition and all that, and you're like dying, I feel like at that point you might be scared if you not really know what like you're expecting. Like you're expecting to die, of course, but like I feel like it's the feeling of like oh my god, I'm dying, like this is it. Like I think eventually like it starts to overwhelm you and you'll start to realize that like maybe I wasn't really prepared for it at all. Oh, sorry. I was just trying to regain my thoughts. Trying to remember what I was saying and all that. Make sure that like I don't repeat myself. I probably will, but you know, I try not to do it as much. So let's see. Dying, death. So what I'm assuming Eastern philosophy would be is like a sense of I feel like a really important topic of it would be like a sense of self, you know, like a sense of who you are, your mind and body, you know, coming back to that. But essentially like who you really are, and like not what your well, I guess your purpose in life, but essentially like who you are as a person, and like you have an understanding of like this is who I am and this is what I do, you know. And it's very important to like I'm not saying you should have like everything figured out by now, but you should at least have a sense of your own self and like God, what is that noise? What the hell? A sense of your own self, I believe. Yep. So where was I? Yes, a sense of self. Sense of self. Yeah, this is really hard. I mean, it's not really hard. It's just like doing it by yourself. Like you just have to kind of keep talking, but like you just don't want to keep talking. Like and eventually start rambling about the same thing, you know? Because I know I can like tend to do that a lot, and like I'm trying my best. But let's see. I lost my train of thought. Not gonna, not gonna lie. This is hard, especially on a topic that I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm trying my best to like go off on some subjects and all that. So I think here's what I'll do. I'll just keep talking until like I figure something out, and then I'll just share like what I think. But I think let's go with just my own opinion. I think going off of what I read from some of those articles, I think Eastern philosophy is just a sense of a very important sense of self. You know, parts. Hello. Parts of it where you kind of have to have Not not like have a shit. Alright. Not have like an understanding right away of like who who you are as yourself as a person, and like how you see yourself. Because like it's hard to do that. Whoa, this rain is dope. My God, it's crazy. That's so cool. Here, let's just go sit by like a bench fire. I'll build a platform right now. But I was saying like a sense of self in which you understand who you are and you get it. You accept that like this is who I am and this is what I'm supposed to do. But at the same time, you're kind of always learning about different things as well. Like you never really stop learning about the whole world. You just continue learning. And I think some people are more closed-minded than others, of course. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I don't think you can really close yourself off to the world, because the world is constantly changing. Like in my last video, the world is constantly changing and it just keeps evolving. And so will you have you will have to keep up with the world, otherwise you'll just be kind of left behind. Can't make chairs, huh? You can only make beds. Why don't they never add like chairs to Minecraft? Wouldn't that be like dope? Is that you're gonna do? You're gonna... No, no. Actually, yeah. There we go. See? Perfect. If I die by a creeper or something, I die, alright? I'm just gonna sit back and talk to you guys. So, Eastern philosophy. I don't know how many minutes I'm in already into this video, but I think it'll be a short video. Otherwise, I'm gonna run out of stuff to say. But I know not for a fact, but I feel like Eastern philosophy is just... I think it involves more self and more like yourself and people around you. Like going back to what I learned in my philosophy class about Socrates and all that. Essentially, their ideas were also around yourself as well. You're kind of questioning who you are as a person, and you're kind of questioning who and what this world has in store and what it's doing. And if it's the same kind of concept as Eastern philosophy, then it's the same thing. But I think Eastern philosophy has more in depth of like certain subjects compared to Western philosophy instead. But I know for a fact the book that I read, which I'm hoping is considered Eastern philosophy, I know it had a lot to say. There's a lot about dying, and then a lot about accepting that, accepting the fact that we're all gonna die eventually, and that we shouldn't really live our lives with that kind of, without facing it, that knowledge of dying. I think we should all accept the fact that we're dying, but not be scared of it. Just know that like eventually our time will come, and when it does happen, like we shouldn't suffer during that time. We should just be happy that like it's just our time to come. In a sense, I believe in the sense of like that, you know, like I think, hmm, how would I put it? How would I put it? In the sense of God, I know some of them do have gods, that's for sure, and like some of their teachings revolve around that. Yeah, but I don't know. I really like the topic about just understanding who you are. You know, a sense of self, just in a just your own grasp of your like your body, your mind, your body, like all of that, and then like just sharing that with everyone. Maybe Eastern philosophy is like that. Maybe it's just where like you kind of understand that everyone around you and yourself are just trying to live their lives and do what they have to do and just continue with that. But I think it's important to understand that like everyone is the same. Not really, not technically not all the same, you know, like down to the very core, like same genes and all that. But I feel like we all have an understanding of like of each other, you know, to a certain point. Don't get me wrong. Like people change all the time, but it's crazy. I think I'm gonna ask my friend for like topics about this. Now that I'm like thinking about it and I'm wondering like what it is and all that, I'm pretty sure he's gonna have like a lot more knowledge of this, and I'm just gonna ask because like it's honestly a really interesting subject. Like just by reading like some of these like main points that we're trying to like talk about, I can tell that there's a lot to do with your own self, but at the same time a lot to do with like other people as well. I think it revolves around a lot of how humans feel and how they process all those emotions and all that, and it's just insane. I think I'm at a loss for words here. Maybe not. I know in the book they talk about meditating a lot too. Like you just sit back, concentrate on your breathing. You let you kind of take in the environment for yourself. And like I don't know if you guys have tried it yet, but I really recommend like meditating just to see how it feels. Like trust me, like it's such a weird feeling. Cause whoa, what the hell? Oh, that's just water. Thought something was moving all the way in the distance, like a giant monster. But you really do feel like so calm, and you have like I think that's like what I'm trying to talk about. It's like a sense of like you're under your area and yourself. Like you can feel your body calm down. You can feel it relax. And you understand that this is like how how calm you're supposed to be. And then you also have the idea of the sense of the room you're in, or like whatever you're meditating, whatever place. You start to really grasp the idea of like everything around you. Not in like hypervision where it's just like oh my god, like this is like crazy. This is all around me. This is like everything. But a sense of like you just kind of know you're in a room and you can feel the space that you're in. Like I'm telling you, like it's really crazy how like meditating can do that. And I know for a fact that like a lot of Buddhist monks they do that because it's a key concept of like helping you understand who you really are and like the area you're in, and it starts to make you wonder how how you even got to this point and how you even started. Like, you start to really question your place and your belonging, and you start to realize, you start to understand that this is meant, not meant to happen, but meant to be. I heard you. I heard you. See, this is meant to be. But I think I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So I know for a fact I'm gonna record like separately and just talk. Like if I'm doing a podcast and then just record gameplay over this. Way better idea. So shout out to Gio for that. Giving me the idea. This is his topic too, so like hey man, if you're watching this I tried my best, but like I feel like you're gonna get mad. But it is what it is, I still got a couple more minutes, so let's see. Let me finish what I was trying to say. You start to really understand, like, I keep saying that, you start to understand the self and all that, because essentially that's like how it comes down to. Like, it always comes down to that point. Like, you have to understand yourself and you have to understand the environment. And like, it's not saying you have to like fully understand everything, like, oh my god, like I need to know like what all of this is. You just have to have like the idea of like, I don't know everything, but I am willing to learn like what this is or who you are, like you're willing to like accept that like you yourself aren't as great as you might think. And I think when you start to really like say that, you start to accept that like maybe I'm not like so special after all, maybe I'm just a regular person, but I want to keep doing better and I want to keep moving forward and learn. Like, I just want to keep learning. I know for a fact like this world isn't like gonna teach me like, well, I don't know, maybe someone out there knows like all the secrets of the world, but I feel like you always have to just keep learning and then just taking everything from yourself and like all the environment and then just keep applying it to yourself and your life, And I think maybe Eastern philosophy might be like that, where you understand what's going on, and then you just take that. Whoa. Back into my house, boys. You just kind of start to realize that, like, oh, okay. So, yeah. And that's really how it is. I also think that there's points where you're gonna have to like sacrifices will be made and you're gonna feel down and like everything is gonna happen. Like eventually you're gonna feel sad about some things and you're gonna feel depressed, you're gonna feel angry and all that. And I think it's okay. Like they say it's okay to really feel those. Like it just means you're going through something, but like you shouldn't let those emotions consume you. You shouldn't let all of those things take over you, You should learn like why this is happening and should I do something about it or should I just let it ride out and go away on its own, And I think that's how life is in general too, like there's always going to be stuff happening and there's always going to be moments in your time where it's going to be hard and you might want to be quitting, you might just feel frustrated and you might just feel lost. But if Eastern philosophy is anything like this, I feel like it says that like it's okay to feel lost, it's okay to feel like you're about to like lose everything or you're about to just like give up. Like as long as you can acknowledge that, I think you can learn from it. You can always learn from it and you can always just keep getting better. And that's just really how, it's just how like life is. It's just that part. Oh, you're ruining my monologue. Who gets jumped in their own house, man? Bro, alright, what's up? Oof, 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 oof. Anyways. I want to come back to this. I do want to come back to this. As you can see, like, towards the end, like, if you made it this far, sorry for rambling so much about, like, I pretty much said the same thing over and over again. Like, as soon as I stopped, I started to, like, get my train of thought. I'm gonna come back to this, though. This is just, I'm gonna name it part 1. And then, like, I'm gonna ask my friend for more advice, and I'm gonna ask him, like, what he thinks about that. And then I'll just, like, go off of what he says, and I'll just put it into my own, like, perspective as well. See, I think that's also just an understanding. Like, you just have to accept that you don't know everything, and that you're gonna have to ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help. Like, this is what we have each other for. We just learn, you know. We learn from each other, and then we share it with one another, and then it just keeps going. You know, it's a chain. You just help someone else helps you, and then that's how it is, man. That's how it is. So if you made it this far into the video, sorry I rambled about like the same thing for a while. And next video for sure will be way better. But Eastern philosophy, there's a lot more to it. A lot more to it. I just talked pretty much about yourself and understanding of like your area and all that, but there's way more. I know there's way more that I can talk about, but I'm gonna have to get more information on that. So look forward to it. Thanks for listening, guys. This will only just get better and better as more time. See, there's another topic that might be like there. Like, as long as you're never gonna be really good at something right off the bat. Well, I mean, of course, you might just be naturally talented, but you can eventually you'll start to learn more and more. Like, you just need practice. You just need to keep going. You just have to keep doing it, and you'll start to realize that like I was frustrated at first, but now that I'm like here, like I can just do it easily and all that. Okay, that's the last point. I'll catch you guys later.